What's good everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, got a good shoe comparison video for you. We are comparing the Puma Deviate Nitro with the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. And this is a video that I knew I wanted to do from months ago when Puma released this Deviate Nitro. I think this was released back in March. The Endorphin Speed 2 is a relatively new released just a couple of weeks ago in July. Puma has really stepped up to the plate this year with their running shoes, and they've really dropped some real crackers. This is one of those shoes. So it's only right that I compare it to possibly could be the best shoe of 2021. We'll see. Either way, I would not be comparing these shoes if I didn't think they were similar. I'm telling you right now, they are pretty similar. Puma did a good job. These two shoes really complement each other. The blue and the yellow just look fantastic. So I've put a fair number of miles in both these shoes. We're going to run through the specs and I'm going to tell you about how they feel on foot on the run. Just as a disclosure, nobody sent me these shoes. I paid for both these shoes with my own money. The thoughts and opinions are my own. Let's get into it. Let's start off with price, because I really think that price is a huge factor that a lot of people look at before they purchase a pair of shoes. Here in the US, both the Puma Deviate Nitro and the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 come in at $160. But in the UK it's a different story. In the UK, you'll be paying £155 for the Endorphin Speed 2 and only £140 for the Puma Deviate Nitro. So depending on where you live, might make a difference in your decision. Here in the US, these shoes are exactly the same, but in the UK, the Deviate Nitros are £15 cheaper. Both the Puma Deviate Nitro and the Endorphin Speed 2 are neutral running shoes. Now, they're made for speed. But we all know this, they're both plated shoes. They're made for picking up the pace, and they do that. They pick up the pace pretty well. But let me be the first to tell you that I have run easy in both these shoes, and they are incredibly comfortable. So if you're not one of those people that buys a shoe for every occasion, for every different type of run, rest assured that you will be able to do all your runs in these shoes. I really don't do enough speed work to warrant having both these shoes. So if I didn't use them on easy runs, I wouldn't get enough miles in them to test for you. Guys, I just want to invite you right now, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And if you like running shoes and you like running shoe reviews, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. That is the best way for YouTube to send this video out to other people that may not ordinarily get a chance to see it. The next most important thing that I think people look at is weight. When it comes to running shoes, weight is talked about endlessly. So in a men's size 9, the Deviate Nitro comes in at 9.4 ounces or 268 grams. In my size, US men's size 13 or UK size 12, the Deviate Nitros tip the scale at 10.9 ounces or 308 grams. The Endorphin Speed, on the other hand, tipped the scale for a men's size 9 US at only 7.9 ounces or 224 grams. It's pretty light. And in my size, men's size 13 in the US, 12 in the UK, it's less than 10 ounces, 9.9 ounces, which is 280 grams. This shoe is light, feels light, it even feels light in my hand. This doesn't feel heavy, but when I'm comparing the two, there is a difference. 10.9 ounces, 9.9 ounces in my size. Now, I have to be honest with you, the Endorphin Speed doesn't feel like a lighter shoe when I'm running in it. That 1 ounce isn't really noticeable to me. The Puma Deviate Nitro carries itself very well. Of course, just because I'm saying I don't notice it, doesn't mean it's not important. Shoes are the mass that you're carrying forward, so every little bit of weight savings does help. When you've been running for a couple hours in a marathon, you're probably gonna be glad for that 1 ounce less in the Endorphin Speed 2. Okay, let's go over some of the specs, because I'm actually going to point out how I think in future iterations, Puma is going to be able to cut some weight from the Deviate Nitro. The upper on the Deviate Nitro is an engineered mesh, but it is a dual layer mesh. I can stick my hand inside here and I can feel those 2 layers, which is great for resiliency. Your little toe probably isn't going to be sticking through the end of this one, but that dual layer mesh, especially the inside mesh, which probably contributes to comfort, is adding a little bit of weight. The Endorphin Speed, on the other hand, has a mono mesh upper. It is just this very thin material. Feels lovely. It feels lovely when your foot's in it. But if you find that maybe your big toe kind of ends up wearing through the end of your running shoes, it's going to do so a lot quicker when the Endorphin Speed 2, just because it's only a single layer mesh. As far as overlays go, both the Puma and the Saucony shoes have their very minimal overlays. I really can't say it contributes anything to the midfoot lockdown. Both of these shoes gave me a great midfoot lockdown feeling. Can't really say one is better than the other. However, look at the eyelet chain on the Deviate Nitro. As you can see, it's been reinforced with a little bit of rubberized plastic, and that's great for longevity. But the Saucony's eyelet chain has been reinforced with it's so minimal, I bet you can't even see it on the camera. It's almost just like a piece of plastic that they've stuck on just to strengthen the eyelet chain. You eliminate that, you're gonna cut out a little weight, but a little bit of weight savings here and there is gonna add up. How about a little tongue action? Both of these tongues are gusseted. However, you can see the Puma Deviate Nitro here on my left hand has much more of a racing tongue. It's very thin, the padding is very strategically placed. The Endorphin Speed, on the other hand, has it's kind of medium in thickness, but it's more like a traditional tongue than the Deviate Nitro. Now, I can't give one or the other extra points for their tongue comfort. Both of these tongues, they do their job well. I didn't have any hot spots from the laces cutting into the top of my foot. And Puma has obviously thought about this by having this kind of racing tongue in order to save weight. It's just a shame they added weight in other places. The heel collar of the Endorphin Speed 2 is rather traditional. Now, we can see it here. You can see how thick it is. It's lovely and padded. It's very comfortable when you put your foot in. It's not overly padded like you see on those daily trainers. And it's also kind of a rough material, which I guess would grip the side of your ankle just a little firmer, especially when they're wet with sweat. And I'm sure the reason is to give you a good lockdown when your heel is in it. Speaking of your heel in it, the heel counter, it's pretty rigid, especially here on the back. You can see I'm squeezing it, and you can see if I squeeze it like this, it brings to light there's a plastic piece right in the back, which just gives the shoe a great heel lockdown feeling. When your foot is in the Endorphin Speed 2, it's not going anywhere. You're feeling pretty secure. Puma has gone a different route with the Deviate Nitro. We can see here we have a very, very minimal kind of heel collar. It's almost like one piece of suede right around the outside. And then we have some strategically placed cushioning. I think you can see it right here. And there's another one on the other side. There is nothing right at the back. You just have two bumpers right here, which grip your heel nicely. The heel counter it's a little loose. There isn't as much structure as there is on the Endorphin Speed 2. And I tell you, I have really enjoyed how this fits. I like these little bumper pads. Kind of leaves me thinking that Puma has only included enough padding to really get the job done. Now, at this point, I have run over 100 miles in this shoe and I've raced a 5K. You know, in some race shoes where the heel gets a little loose when you go around corners, I didn't have that feeling in this shoe. Both the Deviate Nitro and the Endorphin Speed 2 have an 8mm drop. The Deviate Nitro has 32mm in the heel and 24mm in the forefoot, whereas the Endorphin Speed has a little bigger stack height. It has 35.5mm in the heel, 27.5 in the forefoot. So that extra stack height might give you a little more cushioning on the long runs. Saucony is using their Power Run PB foam. They have a composite nylon plate sandwiched in between. The Deviate Nitro uses nitro foam technology. It's a supercritical nitrogen infused foam, and it just makes for a lovely, light, responsive foam. The Deviate Nitro also has a carbon composite plate. You can actually get a little window into this world right here. There it is right there. Now, as far as running in plated shoes, some are better than others. I actually find that running in a carbon plated shoe can sometimes get a little tiring. So when comparing the carbon composite platedness of both of these shoes, I found that the Endorphin Speed is a little more easy to run in. And when I say that, I'm talking about going out for easy runs. Let's just say we're using both these shoes as daily trainers. The Endorphin Speed just seems a little easier on my body than the Deviate Nitro. The Deviate Nitro, on the other hand, seems to ride more like a traditional carbon plated shoe, and it feels to me like it wants to go fast. So I would describe the Endorphin Speed as kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing compared to the Deviate Nitro, which is just a wolf. For the outsole, Puma has included their Puma Grip branded rubber. It's very grippy. Haven't had any trouble slipping on the wet roads. But look how much there is. This is good coverage all across the forefoot. Got your kind of horseshoe shape right at the back, and we've got this exposed midsole with the exposed composite plate right in the middle. There's a lot of rubber on this shoe. This shoe's gonna last. This isn't a shoe that's gonna be cashed after a couple hundred miles. The Endorphin Speed 2, on the other hand, appears to use a little less rubber, but in saying that, there is rubber in all the right places. We have a good amount of coverage here on the forefoot, although there is a lot more exposed foam in these little chevrons. And then we have a lot of exposed foam right through the midfoot, with again, extra rubber here on the outside of your foot for that strategically placed rubberness. Then we have a little ring, a ring of rubber around the outside. But obviously, you can tell the difference. There is far less rubber used on the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 than the Puma Deviate Nitro. Again, probably a big reason that the Deviate Nitro weighs a whole ounce more than the Endorphin Speed 2 in my size. So as far as running in these shoes goes, they fit very similar. I really can't choose one over the other for comfort when running. If I was simply going by looks, I think the Puma takes it. I do like the yellow colorway, just looks sharp. And the Endorphin Speed 2 is no slouch in the looks department. But when they're next to each other, I do prefer the Puma. But that's it. This isn't really about looks, this is about performance. If you were gonna pay the same price for both these shoes, I would probably steer you towards the Endorphin Speed 2. And I think it's because it's a little more forgiving of a shoe and it's lighter. The shoe is no joke, folks. I think it is worth every penny of $160. And as far as the Puma Deviate Nitro, I am really looking forward to what they come out with next year, what improvements they make on this. Because as the first iteration of a shoe, it is extremely impressive. Puma has done a good job. And if you were looking for another shoe to add to your rotation, if for some reason Saucony doesn't fit your foot well, or you just like the idea of running in Puma shoes, you would not go wrong with the Deviate Nitro. This is a sharp looking and very fast shoe. Okay, my friends, thanks for staying all the way to the end of the video. This has been my review of the Puma Deviate Nitro versus the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. My name's Matt. I post new running videos at least twice a week. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.